There it is. Good day, brothers. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It has been, I think, 3 days, 2 or 3 days, since I recorded my first video. After the lapse in recording my 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days plus all the way, right? And I I gotta be honest, I was considering uh, recording videos for each day and just like changing my shirt or something, being like, oh, this day was this and that. But the truth and honesty is always better, and that is what I'm gonna live by. And uh, so I believe I recorded the video on Wednesday, and on Thursday, actually, I got a text from my friend asking if I could give him a ride down to Iowa City, which is where I grew up most of my childhood and high school and one semester of college and then beyond. And so that is, he was applying for a position at the University of Iowa. And so I actually drove him down. Today is Saturday, so I drove him down on Thursday. We stayed at my parents' place Thursday night. Friday he had his interview, which he got his position, and then we drove up yesterday. So I want to apologize that I did not stick to my commitment of recording every day of the journey. But what I want to do and what I can do is give a recap of the last 2 days and the things that were difficult and the things that were easy and good and fulfilling. Not that those are together. But regardless, the point is Thursday I I actually cried more than I have ever cried in my life. And that is because I had a counseling session with my pastor, and we were going over some fears and just emotional, we call it resistance. So when you think of something that you want to do or that someone else wants you to do and you don't want to, you're feeling some kind of resistance to it. And so we were going over resistance to me getting a job and to working. Ever since I dropped out of college, I've always either been doing digital marketing, that sort of work, or done like part-time work for people, real short, real shallow like that. And there was a lot of emotions that are tied to that, and a lot of identity that's tied to being an entrepreneur and doing entrepreneurial work. So we were kind of going over some of that on Thursday, and usually I'm very quick on things. I'm very honest. I'm very self-reflective, so I know how I feel and why I feel those things. And usually the counseling goes pretty quick, of just like, oh, here's what I'm feeling, here's why I'm feeling that, and here's where we can go from there. But on Thursday it was different, and we got to a point where he was asking some questions, and I was like, I'm not really feeling a lot, or like I'm not really understanding what's happening. And I think someone just got home, and I was asked, okay, do you feel resistance to feeling something or doing that and going to that place? And I was like, yeah, I do. And so when I took some time and kind of looked inward to why I felt resistance to going there, I realized that if I went to that place, there would be a lot of pain and a lot of hurt. And I had to. It was so interesting. There was like in psychology, it's called a cognitive dissonance, right? And it's when your mind disassociates because there's so much pain. And I had that, and I was looking at this gap where this was reality and this is what I was feeling, and there was a gap there, and I had to consciously recognize that and then be okay and say, you know what, I'm okay to cross over to that gap. I don't know what's all over there, but I know it's going to be painful, and I'm okay with that. And so And so my pastor and counselor, he asked, he's like, are you okay going there? And I was like, yeah, let's go there. And as soon as we went there, I just started to weep. And I mean weep, like, pretty sure like 2, 3, 4 minutes of just uncontrollable crying. And if you know me personally, like, I don't like to cry in front of people, and I do everything I can to hold it back. But there was no stopping this, and there was so much pain, and the pain was around the question of why, like, why do you feel hesitant to getting a job, into working a 9 to 5? And I realized that there's so much pain around that, because when I thought about that, I thought about not past memories, which is usually where a lot of our pain comes from, past experiences and memories, but I thought about the future. And it was so interesting because I was looking at the future like it was the past, like it was a memory, like it had already happened. And I saw myself laying on my deathbed and looking back over my life. And I realized that if I work a 9 to 5, if I work a job, that I would lay on my deathbed, and the pain of regret that I would experience from not giving my all, from not doing everything I could, for leaving some stuff at the table, and realizing that I half-assed it my way through life by working a job. And I'm not saying people who work jobs are like that, but I'm saying for me personally, I would not be giving my all. And to admit that and to acknowledge that was so painful. And yet, what hurt even more was the fact that what I've been doing in work and in my job and in a lot of my life has been just status quo, has been trying, has been attempting, but not giving all of me and all that I have to offer. And that hurt so much more, to admit that I've been average in my business. I've been mediocre. I've been complacent. And realizing that I've been that way not just with work and with finances, but with some relationships, with for sure my sexuality, and with PMO. Like, this stuff, you can't half-ass it. And to think, on my deathbed, if I look back, am I going to realize that I left some of it on the table? That I didn't give my all every minute of every single day? That's what I'm committed to. I want to die, and I want to be like Jesus. When Jesus died, he said, "Father, it is finished. Into your hands I commit my spirit." Jesus, like, he wasn't holding on. He's like, I still have more to do. I still have more. He's like, it is finished. It is done. I know who I am. I know why I'm here, and I did it. And now I freely give to you my spirit, because I've done all that I can. It's been finished. I'm fulfilled. It's been accomplished. There's nothing else for me to do. I give to you my spirit. That's what I want to say. When I die, I don't want to hold on and be like, no, there's things that I want to say. There's people that I want to talk to. There's things that I want to do. I want to say, God, I freely give you my spirit, because I've done everything. And that commitment that resolve at the end of my life starts today. The future is today. The future is now. That starts today, that in this moment. I hope that you can see that, like, from when I started the video to now, like, I want to give more. I want to be more passionate. I want to be more, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Every moment. So at the end of the day, at the end of tonight, when I lay my head on the pillow, I can say, you know what? If I don't wake up tomorrow, that's okay. Because I gave all that I had. Everything. I left it all out on the table. God, into your hands, I commit my spirit for this day. And when that happens, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month, quarter by quarter, year by year, decade by decade, that is the only way that when I lay on my deathbed, that yes, I can have that confidence and that peace. So that's what I was thinking a lot about on Thursday. And on Friday, that was Thursday morning. Then Thursday afternoon, I was with my friend all day on the road, and with my family in the afternoon and evening. And I realized that when you change your environment, when I go home, it's so much easier for me to be tempted and to want to relapse. And that's because our environments, everything around us has such a huge impact on what we do. And when we're consistently in a certain environment that changes us and that influences us consistently, and that creates habits in us. And so I realize that when I'm at home, when I'm here in Madison, I have a lot of things that come easily. The habits are there. They're good because I'm in an environment that allows for that, that supports that. But when I go home, those structures, those external structures are gone. So I have to be even more intentional, even more focused in order to stay and to fight and to show up and to step up. And so I recognized that maybe 2 trips ago when I went home. And so this time, last time and this time, when I go home in the mornings, I'm intentional about taking that time for myself to go out. So wake up an hour early if I need to, whatever I need to do, go on a walk and be grateful, to visualize and to think about what is the goal, what is the vision, what are we going for? Not just long-term legacy, but for the next 5 years, for the next year, for the next couple months, for today, and to walk through all those things and to think through them and to be certain that those things are coming, because I'm certain that those are the decisions that I'm going to make. And then finally, the power of incantations. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with Tony Robbins and his work, but the power of drilling into our minds, our subconscious minds, our hearts really, is the truth, and telling ourselves those truths, because everybody's telling us what to believe. We're telling ourselves things that our parents have told us when we grew up. We're still repeating those things to ourselves. And so taking authority and responsibility for what we're telling ourselves and being intentional about that. And so taking that time in the morning is what I did Friday morning, an extra amount of time, because I knew if I don't have that time, it's so much harder. So that was Friday morning, and then the rest of Friday just with family in the morning, and then Friday afternoon with my friend driving back up to Madison. And so that was Friday. Very busy, very good, not a lot of temptations. But here Saturday morning in Madison, again went on my walk this morning, and just realizing how when I'm not looking at porn online, how much easier it is for me to recognize and see women around me. And how that's a good thing, a natural thing, but it's also a hard thing. Because my commitment is like rock solid. So even looking at women and lusting at women, that is a barrier that I want to break through for another level, right? And so I'm realizing that when one level is completed, there's another level and another level, and it's just going to keep going and going. And that's exciting because that means growth, that means progress, right? But it's also challenging. And so these new challenges I need to develop new mindsets, new strategies to overcoming those. So that's been exciting and awesome to see that with progress brings new challenges, and I love that. And then here Saturday afternoon, I actually just got done with an interview with one of my brothers, one of my dear, dear brothers, and we were just talking about how this movement and this journey isn't about, it's not about stopping to do something. It's not about benefits. It's not about, the ego boost or like I can do this or anything. It's about the legacy. It's about the long term, and it's about really what happened on Thursday of looking back over our lives and being like, did I give all of myself? Did I fulfill every single moment of everything I had? Did I give every single moment? And if no, then that's a decision that we have every moment. And like this journey that we're on is so much bigger than just it's just a slip. Like it's not compartmentalizing like, oh, here I need to end this part of my life and like do something different. But no, it affects everything else. Because if a man can control his sexuality and decides and commits and follows through and has resolve on his sexuality, he can do anything. Because that desire and that force is so powerful. And if he learns how to recognize that and then control that and harness that and direct that, he can accomplish anything. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about legacy. And so, yes, this journey has levels and there's steps and there's new challenges and new strategies and new things to overcome. But the thing in its entirety, what we're building is a legacy that will inspire other men, that will live on far past you, far past what you could ever reach. And that's the question. The question is, am I going to lust and give into that short-term desire? Or am I going to say no? And to say, I want a legacy that will continue, a legacy that will last, a legacy that will have impact, a legacy that that is so much more fulfilling and so much more of who I am, in alignment with who I am as a man. That's what we're talking about. And so this is day, I don't know. I'll probably recount them up and when I'm putting together everything, but I don't like counting days. That's a losing strategy. Man, legacy, brothers. Remember the legacies. Think about your legacies. What do you want your legacy to be? And know that that can only come when you've made the decision to conquer yourself and head in the right direction. So, I'm for you, brothers. We're all in this together. I'm so honored to be a part of this. I'm so honored to be living in this time of life that I'm living now, with the opportunities that we have with you men, you unique men. I'm overwhelmed that I'm able to be a part of all of this. And so, till tomorrow, stay strong and build your legacy. Build your legacy. Fulfill your God-given potential and build that legacy. I'm sure there will be more cliche things and all of this as it's developing and growing and being refined. So awesome. So awesome. All right. Till tomorrow, brothers.